Hello, welcome to Coaching with Tali. We are talking today about living generously and why does that make such a difference for us when we learn to live in a place of overflow, when we are in contribution, when we're giving back. How is it that it is such a gift to give? So I talk today about some of the reasons for that at an emotional level, at a physical level, talk about some brain science behind it, and even spiritually, what it does to be able to learn to live in a place of living generously. My name is Tali, and I am a life and personal development coach. I get to work with leaders to create lives of incredible, profound, positive impact while learning to live centered in a place of joy. And interestingly, those two things are so tied together. When we learn how to live in a place of joy for ourselves, when we learn to get connected to what it is that we are made for in the world, when we align to who we are and what we're made to give, it creates a life of joy. So those two things are completely intertwined. When you're aligned to who you are, you will overflow because it's connected to who you are. You're made to be a giver. So we're going to talk about some of those things. One thing that living generously does is it increases your confidence. So when you're giving and you're seeing the difference that you make and you're seeing that the things that you have in you to give that make a difference, it builds your confidence. If you want to be somebody who just operates in a lot of confidence, learn how to give and you'll start seeing the impact that you have, and it will build incredible confidence in you. Second thing is it causes you to live in an awareness of abundance. So you can't be in a place of giving regularly and feel like you're in this place of scarcity, like you don't have enough and fear and there's not enough for you. You can't be generous and live in scarcity at the same time. So when you give, you actually increase your own sense of abundance in the world. Like there is so much to give and you're in overflow. So if you think of a glass of water, like being filled to the top and overflowing, you want to be a life that is like that is connected to what you have and able to give out. And it's really fascinating because when you give, you actually get more poured in, so you have more to give, and it's this beautiful cycle. So confidence, abundance, it's just incredibly rewarding. So when you realize that because of you, somebody else is impacted, somebody else has something that they wouldn't have had without you, it's just incredibly rewarding. Just true. So it also is in alignment with our design. So you are made to be a giver. Like scripture talks about, it's more blessed to give than to receive. And I've seen that over and over and over again, that I actually get happier when I'm giving, even more than when I'm receiving. And there are fascinating studies out of Berkeley and also Harvard have done studies on this very thing. And they've shown how you actually are happier when you're giving than when you're receiving. There's one study where they measured the brain science. So you can actually see there are biofeedback machines that you can connect and see which parts of your brain are firing when different things are going on. So they did a test that showed the brain centers, the parts of your brain that are firing when you're in a place of giving are pleasure, the pleasure center of your brain, social connection, and trust are all firing when you're giving. So it actually releases endorphins into your system when you give. So it's fascinating. You can like see a principle or a truth in scripture or other places, and then you can see the science behind it. I think it's super fascinating when you see that. There is also another study out of Berkeley that showed, they did a test over 5 years with elderly, and they kind of like erased all of the other factors like maybe bad habits of smoking or eating, and just looked at, they were able to zero in and just look at the elderly who were in this place of generosity, who gave of their time and volunteered to at least 2 organizations, had a 44% decrease in their risk of death over 5 years than people who were in a place of receiving. Fascinating, right? Increase your lifespan by 44% by giving. That's incredible. It's been shown to decrease stress, to increase happiness. And this is something that I see like just from my own personal experience for myself and also my clients. So clients that I see that come in so let me show you a life wheel. This is one of the tools that I use with all of my private clients. I use it in coaching courses that I do, retreats that I lead. And 1/8, so this is made up of eight pieces of the pie. This represents the 8 most important areas of your life. And 1/8 of it is overflow, giving back, contribution, like that's the category. So when I have clients that come in and this overflow, contribution and overflow category is low, like I can know that some of the things that they are going to be feeling are kind of a sense of purposelessness, sometimes low level or mid-level depression, a sense of like, what is it like all about? So when they're higher in some of these other areas, a lot of my clients are killing it in career calling, have great sense of abundance in finance. Often, health and wellness is high. There are different areas that they're doing really, really well on. But they're like looking at it like, how am I able to have all these incredible results and I still feel so like, what's the point? Like that sense of purposelessness. We all know what that feels like. We've had experiences of that. And so I can either hear those symptoms and know that this is low, or I can see their first life wheel and then know that once we start talking more that those are going to be some of the things. I can ask them like, are you feeling, and it's always correlated. So it's fascinating. If you want to have a meaningful life, get yourself into a place of contribution and overflow. I remember learning when I went through one of the hardest times in my life, I remember learning, I think I read it somewhere, but they said one of the best things you can do when you're in a stressful place is to find ways to give back. And then I've seen that with other people too, people who are coming out of addiction or people who are like overcoming challenges in their life. If they can find ways to support others in the midst of that, they're like what we just said, confidence, sense of abundance, the feeling like this rewarding experience and in alignment with our design, it increases when we get into overflow. If I'm having a hard day, I know that if I can just, like the word that I sometimes use or words I use are like focus out. Like if I'm feeling like a victim in some way, if I can like get my attention outside of myself and focused on somebody else, I know that I'm going to feel better. So when all of this coronavirus stuff happened, I was like, how can I be in overflow? Like, how can I get into a place where I'm giving back right now? Because I know that's going to sustain me and get me through it. And I know it's going to make a difference for other people that really need it right now. And so one of the things, I just go live every day, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook page and just offer this kind of thing, coaching and ways to give back, mindsets, and getting you into a place of alignment, doing a lot of this kind of thing that I do with my private clients, just giving it away. And one of the things I wanted to do in this time, because there's this sense of like, feeling disoriented, and I know that if you can get clear on where you're at in different areas of your life and how to move things forward, it really, really makes such a difference. So I'm doing a free life wheel assessment. So we will, in like an hour and a half, complete an entire life wheel. It's a completely free class. I did one last night and there were so many people that were like, I wanted to come, or I just saw the invitation, I missed it, I'm so bummed, will you do it again? So I'm gonna do at least one more, maybe a couple more. Next one is gonna be April 30th, 7 p.m. So if this is something that would support you, I'll have a link right around here. You can jump on and give me your name and email, and I will email you a PDF of this, a blank one of these that you can fill out when we do the workshop. And I will email you a Zoom link because it's going to be live. So I'll be in there with you, able to answer questions, be able to flow with you guys and connect, and you can share with each other. It's just a really sweet connective experience. So if that would support you, I would absolutely love to have you. Feel free to invite team members that you work with, or friends or family that you'd like to do this with. And I will see you April 30th at 7 p.m. It's a completely free workshop. Come do this life wheel and see how satisfied you are in every important area of your life. Until then, find ways to just give back and to live generously. Sending you lots of love today and blessings.